Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to start talking about, it's kind of windy. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully you can hear me. It wasn't windy initially, but the wind's picking up. Anyway, we're going to talk about how I started my online business, how I went from zero to making about $19,000 a month, how I lost money, how I made money, how I lost a little bit of more money, and all the lessons that I've learned from that. But first and foremost, we've got to go over our niche idea, and we also need to answer a question. A question was posed to me, I think yesterday's video, where they asked about brand deals and sponsorships. Do I do brand deals and sponsorships? How do I find them? Do they come to me? Do I go to them? In general, I don't do brand deals and sponsorships. And the reason is, I don't think it's a good deal for most people. For example, people will reach out to me pretty frequently, a couple times per week, to do brand deals on this account and a few other accounts that I have. And usually, the brand deal consists of, for example, NVIDIA reached out to me 2 years right at the beginning of AI, the AI explosion. And they reached out to me and said, hey, we want to do a brand deal. And they were willing to pay me $500 for one time. And the problem with that is my video is going to stay up on YouTube for forever. And you're only going to get $500 one time. They stand to make much more from that one video than I could make from that one time. In addition, they wanted me to say specific things. And the things that they wanted me to say were, if I remember correctly, they were a bit gray area on the verge of being unethical. And so I passed on it. Should you do brand deals? It really all depends on what your channel is making. If you have if you have a channel in basket weaving, and Basket Weaving Association wants to pay you $1,000 for one video, then yeah, that might be a good deal because maybe you're not earning as much with affiliate commissions. And the other thing too, though, is with this channel, I know that I know what each video is worth. You know, if I'm selling my own digital product, if I'm doing affiliate marketing with something outside of NVIDIA, I know that I can make substantially more than just that $500 per video. And so, you know, weigh the pros and cons. Am I telling you not to do brand deals and sponsorships? No, but in a lot of instances, I don't think that they're great, okay? A lot of YouTubers, if they don't know how to monetize or they're afraid to sell stuff, they won't do, they'll only focus on brand deals. Also, too, the other thing, and maybe this is just for me, comment down below if this is you, whenever you see a YouTuber get into a brand deal, I just fast forward right through it. There's a number of YouTube channels that I watch a lot, and anytime they get a brand deal, I just skip, get to the end of it, and I move on. The other thing is oftentimes the brand deals aren't congruent with the niche. For example, there's this guy, I think his name is Quick Slice. He does commentary on shows like 90 Day Fiancé. Now, I've never watched 90 Day Fiancé, but he does shows on like Love After Lockup and 90 Day Fiancé. They're funny, they're sarcastic, you know, kind of that dry humor type thing. But then he'll have a spot for like HelloFresh or Cologne. I don't think that he is making a lot from those. Now, obviously, I don't know the guy, and I don't know anything about his channel, but it doesn't seem like he is doing a whole lot from that. And so, you know, on one hand, definitely do brand deals if your channel, if it fits your channel and your channel's niche. I would say don't just take any deal. I've had a lot of people reach out, and the other thing is sometimes those brand deals are scams in disguise. You'll get a person, an account reach out to you, say, hey, we want to partner with you. You'll kind of notice because the grammar isn't great. There's some spelling errors, and they'll say they're from Facebook, but then they'll have a Gmail account. They'll be like, hey, we're we're from Facebook, or we're from Meta, but then it'll be like anonymous account stealer at gmail.com or something like that. So brand deals, I tend to not do them. If you're in the make money online niche, online business niche, they're probably not worth it for most people, because there are other better ways to monetize. So thanks for the question. I appreciate it. And I might do something where if I pick your question, I'll send you a t-shirt. I might do that. Or I'll send you something in the mail. We'll see though. Anyway, niche idea. Now, again, these niche ideas that I come up with are solely based on my individual situation. And, if you're struggling to find a niche, take a look at things that are happening to you, around you, because of you. This niche idea is looking up and talking about health supplements, dietary supplements, based on specific dietary needs. Let me explain. So as a lot of you guys know, I'm diabetic. I had a heart attack about a year and 2 months ago. And so now, because I had a heart attack and I had a stent put on one of my veins, I always check if a supplement I'm going to take is healthy for me, if it's good for someone that has had a heart attack. And so or someone that is diabetic. And so what you could do, essentially, is you could be that person where you go out and do the research, you compile health supplements that are found at like GNC or other places, and you simply just talk about it. You say who it's for, who it's not for. Now, obviously, you want to have some sort of health background or have speak with health professionals so that you can give quality advice. But I think that's an interesting one because, again, I find myself looking up things like, is there pre-workout that I can take that's not going to interfere with whatever it is, the medicine that I'm taking or whatever. So I think that's an interesting niche. Another interesting niche is talking about different types of helicopters. And the reason why I say that is, as I was driving down here, I saw a military helicopter essentially driving over where I live, Kenosha, Wisconsin. And it looked like it was going to the Great Lakes Naval Base, but I wasn't sure. And then obviously I started wondering, why is there a military helicopter flying over Kenosha? Because we have a Coast Guard, we are very far from any wartime thing. So, those are a couple niche ideas. But let's talk about how I started off at zero, lost some money, started finding success, lost a little bit more money, and then eventually started making about $19,000 a month, which is a lot of money when you think about it, especially where you compare to where I came from. Now, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon, right? I actually grew up not too far from here in I think it was a 4-bedroom house. Parents worked full time. My mom worked multiple jobs to help make ends meet. But I started, much like a lot of you guys and why you follow me, I started with doing some of this stuff for quick cash. We found out, I don't know if I ever told this story in length, but we found out that we were having twins. I'll share the story quick. So my wife and I were struggling to have a kid. This is about 10 years ago. This is over 10 years ago at this point. We were struggling to have kids, and so we actually never thought it would happen. We were getting frustrated and started going to see doctors about it. And eventually we found out that she was pregnant, which was really cool. A couple months in, she started having issues. She started having women issues. And, we were concerned. I told her to go to the hospital. I told her to get checked out, and she refused. This was on a Sunday. She also is a nurse, so she's really stubborn. Nurses are stubborn for whatever reason. She's got shoulder pain. She won't go see a doctor right now, today. She works at a hospital, but won't go see a doctor. Anyway, so all day Sunday, she is not feeling well. She is going through some issues that actually are pretty normal once you figure out you have twins, but obviously we didn't know that at that point. And so I kept telling her, let's go to the doctor, let's go to the doctor, let's go to the doctor. She kept saying, no, well, let's wait and see. So later on that day, I was playing in a men's league basketball Sunday night thing, where every Sunday, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, we would play for an hour or whatever. After that, she still wasn't feeling well, and so we were in the car already. I said, we're going to go to the hospital. We just kept going, and we went to the hospital. And so we got to the hospital, and we are sitting in the ER. You know, you got to explain what's going on to like 5 different people. And so we're sitting there, and it's like, it feels like it's taking forever. This is her hospital. This is a hospital that she works at. It is literally taking forever, or at least it feels that way. It doesn't seem busy. We're trying to figure out what's going on. This was in October, so it was kind of like a fall day. Back 10 years ago, there wasn't TikTok. There wasn't a Wi-Fi widely available. And so, you know, you're just kind of aimlessly scrolling on the same 5 channels that they have on YouTube. Or excuse me, that they have, you know, in a hospital ER room. And so eventually an assistant comes and says, hey, we're going to take you back for an ultrasound to see what's going on. Takes her back to an ultrasound for the ultrasound. So now I'm sitting there in this room, in this ER room by myself, trying to keep it together because, you know, we wanted to have kids. Kids were a very important part of our life, or having kids were a very important part of our life. And so it was going to be a huge disappointment after everything that we went through. We weren't going to be able to have kids. And so again, I'm just like kind of flipping through. I've flipped through the same 13 channels probably 400 times. There was nothing on, there was no Sunday night football, I don't think, at that time. And, you know, you're not really watching TV, you're just kind of like flipping to keep yourself busy. And so she comes back probably 10 minutes later, it felt like an hour, and she's crying. And so, you know, you see your wife crying, you automatically assume, you know, the worst. And finally, the assistant says, hey, you guys know you're having twins, right? And so I said, well, nope. And, you know, the sadness we went from sad to excited. And as I mentioned earlier, this was her hospital. And a number of her friends were working at the hospital, and they saw her name on the board, our last name on the board, which is a really unique last name. And so they came in to see what was going on. And we all kind of learned, like me and 5 other nurses kind of all learned at the same time that we were having twins. And what's really interesting about this hospital is about maybe 4 or 5 of the women that worked on her floor in the ICU all had twins. So for whatever reason, nurses are good at twins. But, you know, I tell that story because while we were all excited, I'm like crunching the numbers. I'm thinking about going from 1 car seat in each of our cars to 2 car seats. So we're going from 2 to 4. Diapers, clothes, you know, daycare. Daycare is insane, but it's even insaner when you've got 2 people working full time and you've got twins. And so like my entire paycheck at that time was just going to pay for daycare. You know, food, 2 cribs, you know, you start crunching the numbers and all the little things out there. And oh, by the way, 2 doctor's visits, because, and this is something not a lot of people realize or know, but as you get closer to the time, the doctor wants to see you twice a week instead of once a week. And so you got to pay for that. And you're racking up all of these bills and all of this debt. And I was making about $43,000 at the time. And I realized that that wasn't going to be enough. And so that's when I started looking into trying to make money online. I also started looking at trying to find better paying jobs locally. But it was really important to me to be able to find something that wouldn't require me to spend time away from the kids that we just found out we were going to have. Because one of the things with my family, my mom and my dad worked 3rd shift as a forklift operator. My mom would work 2 jobs. She'd work her normal job at the Great Lakes Naval Base as like doing data entry and various roles. But then she would have to come home and work part-time at Time Warner. It was Time Warner Cable at the time. Various odd jobs to help make ends meet. And so, my dad worked third shift. He missed a bunch of games and stuff like that through no fault of his own, so he could provide for his family. And so I wanted to make sure that I was able to find something that enabled me to be available for my kids, so I could do things like coach their sports or be at their recitals and all of that stuff without having to be tired. My dad would come, or both my parents would come to a game or whatever it was, but they were exhausted. They were tired because they had to put in a bunch of work. Anyway, that was when I started. I started with the quick cash type things. I started with survey sites. I started with like watching videos to make money. All of those things pay pennies. They pay a tiny, tiny amount that it's not worth it. And that's why I spend so much time rallying against it, because I understand how much time it requires and the little payout, because essentially you're making somebody else rich. You are watching these ads, you're clicking to show that you're active. Someone has contracted with a third party and, they're making money. For example, like micro workers. A micro worker gets paid like 8 cents to share that they subscribed. The website, the micro worker website, which is the middleman, they're making hundreds of dollars from a YouTuber in order to put essentially the YouTuber and the micro worker together. And like I said, it wasn't worth it. And so, I started off trying to find my way. And then eventually, what usually happens is you watch a YouTube video and it doesn't work. And so you have a choice. You can either get frustrated and give up, or you can go back and try and watch another YouTube video based on what you learned. And that's what I basically did. I spent a bunch of time. I spent a bunch of money on JVZoo products and Warrior Plus products that offered quick results, quick cash. They either got a YouTube account banned or shut down, or they just didn't work. I've had a bunch of Pinterest accounts shut down because these JVZoo and Warrior Plus accounts claimed to do something and they were a violation of the terms of service. That's why I'm always telling you guys, check out the terms of service. Anyway, so you kind of go back and forth. You start off looking to wait quick cash, or you're looking for the shortcut. People are always, kind of selling you on the shortcut. You look for the shortcut. And then eventually you realize that it takes longer to find the right shortcut than to just do the right way. And the right way is to create content based on what you know and understand and what you learn. And so eventually I got to the point where, and this is really interesting, I made $130 with affiliate marketing. And I thought affiliate marketing was going to be easy because I made $130 essentially in 12 hours. And I think I've told this story before, but I watched a video by, he still uploads today. His name is it Franklin? Francis? He just uploaded like yesterday. Hatchet? He's from like New Zealand, somewhere down there. And what he said is, you can make money with affiliate marketing recommending Bluehost, which is a web hosting platform, and answering questions on Quora. And that's what I did. I grabbed my affiliate link. I grabbed my affiliate link, went over to Quora, and I would answer questions, and then I would put my affiliate link in the description or not in the description, inside of all of my answers. I did that for probably about 4 or 5 different answers or posts, and about maybe an hour or 2 later, I got 2 emails from Quora saying that my answers were removed because I violated the terms of service. So always know what you're getting into, because they don't want affiliate links inside of their answers. And, that's a violation of their terms of service. Anyway, what was really interesting though is sometime within that hour, someone had clicked on my affiliate link and got web hosting. In fact, 2 people had done that. And by the time I'd gotten home from work that day, again, disappointed, dejected. By the time I had gotten home from work that day, I'd gotten 2 emails saying that 2 different people had enrolled in web hosting, simply just clicking on my affiliate link. And because I was able to make $130 with affiliate marketing essentially within 12 hours, I thought it was going to be easy. Boy, was I wrong. And then I spent a bunch of more money and time enrolling in courses and different programs, trying to find ways to make money, blogging. And you got to remember, at this time, TikTok wasn't around. Short format video wasn't around. It was only like YouTube, blogging. You could post in Facebook groups, but Facebook groups didn't have the push that they were getting. You could do Pinterest, but most people were using Pinterest to push things to their blog. And so, the primary platforms were blogging and YouTube. And YouTube I was creating blog posts. I was creating blog posts, and then I was creating YouTube videos based on my blog posts because I didn't want to show my face. I was like afraid to create videos. And look at me now creating all sorts of video content. Anyway, so yeah, real quick, we'll talk about my first YouTube channel, The Security Camera Guy. It's still up today. And it's kind of how I accidentally stumbled across affiliate marketing, doing it the right way. What I wound up doing, and I was making YouTube videos based on blog posts that I had written or had somebody write. What I did accidentally was I made a video showing people how to install a Ring video doorbell without an existing doorbell. And that video probably has close to 500,000 views. That video is about 7 years old, I think. It has close to 500,000 views. The channel itself only has about 2,000 subscribers. It's not monetized except with affiliate marketing. A lot of people downvoted that video. And the reason is, for whatever reason, is I didn't actually show myself installing the video doorbell. I did it in my office where I was holding up, and I just showed them like unscrewing the screw into there's a bracket. A lot of people downvote. A lot of people hate that video. Go look up that account. Look up The Security Camera Guy, and look at the most viewed video. But that video was responsible for a ton of affiliate commissions. People buying Ring video doorbells. And that's when I realized that if you just put the name of the product in the title, and then also included in the description, people are actually searching for that product. They're looking at unboxing, they're looking at setup, they're looking at features, they're looking at first impressions, they're looking at 6-month reviews, they're looking at comparisons. So like Ring video doorbell versus, the Alfred video doorbell or the Blink video doorbell. They're looking those things up and they're watching videos before they buy. And then if you click on those links, and some often will click on those links and they will make a purchase. I stumbled across that on accident. But once you realize that, you can start applying that to different niches. And, eventually I realized that it was bottom of the funnel, right? That's bottom of the funnel. People know the problem, they know the solution, and they know the product that they want to buy. They just want to make sure it's right for them. They're sitting on the edge and they need to kind of be pushed over or convinced just a little bit that it's right for them. Yes, you can install it. It's not that hard. Yes, it has all the features that you need, type stuff. Anyway, so that's how I kind of realized that video content was the way to go. Now, this video is getting pretty long. Anyway, so let's fast forward. Well, let's talk about this channel. This channel struggles for a long time, a really long time. I was uploading videos every day. I was going live every day. I was, not getting any views or getting not as many views as I would like. And it was frustrating and annoying, but I am stubborn. That's the only reason why I'm still here today is because I'm stubborn. And that's it. I don't have a better answer for you. I'm stubborn. When I want to do something, I am going to do it. And what wound up happening, probably 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I was frustrated that all of these shady channels were getting tons of views. The types of channels that would make videos like make $400 in 30 seconds just by watching YouTube videos. Like they were making that type of content, the shady stuff that we all know that doesn't work. But if you're brand new to making money online and you're desperate to make money online, you're going to try those. You know, those are the videos that I had watched 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and I tried it myself. And I said, you know what? How can I take advantage of that type of traffic without making that type of video? Because I didn't want to make that shady video because I've got ethics and morals. How can I piggyback off of that without compromising my morals, values, and ethics? And then I just so happened to see a video in a different niche, all completely random niche, where it said, I tried something, something, something. And it had a bunch of views. And I said, you know what? What if I do that? What if I said, I tried, and then I just copied the exact name of the title that the original channel used that had a bunch of views, had 1 million views. I tried channel, and then I used the exact same tags. I used very similar description, but then I would show the results. I would say why it worked or why it didn't work. And then I would give a better alternative. And, you know, I did that once a week. The first like 2 or 3 times I did it, it didn't really get a ton of views. But the third time I did it, third time I made a video like that, it was like same views, same views, same views. And then like a month in, it just exploded. The views quadrupled. And it just like skyrocketed. People were like, thank you for making this type of video. It was shared. People commented. It went crazy. And, you know, I was like, that was my golden ticket. Golden ticket. But in addition to making money with views, I also made money with affiliate products, so recommending better alternatives. I made money with digital products and memberships and software as a service. I skipped over the part where I made money with, I skipped over part of the journey where I was a freelance WordPress web designer. Maybe that's a different story for a different day because this is a 30-minute video. And I still got to do my thumbnails. I always forget those. But moral of the story, if you want to grow on YouTube, here's a trick secret sauce that not a lot of people will tell you. Take me 28 minutes to get to you a secret sauce. Take something that's working in your niche, take something that's working in a completely different niche, and combine them together. For example, the I tried blank, here are my results. Now, the I tried it thing, I think it's kind of played out. Also, too, a lot of those channels got deleted or demonetized because they were shady and unethical and kind of scammy. And so, quite honestly, what I'm doing right now is I'm taking something that's working in other niches, combining it to what's working in my niche, and seeing if I can get some similar results. What's working in other niches is sitting down and talking to you vlog style, with no script, just a stream of consciousness like I'm talking to a friend or trying to mentor my younger self. Combine that with a search term that people are looking up, how I started my online business, and we'll see how this does. The vlog style content is now what's working on YouTube, simply because people are tired of the overproduced, overhyped, flashing on the screen, music in the background, hooks into open loops, closed loops, all of that stuff. And so we'll see. And some of these videos have done very well. Some people have actually commented that they enjoy me just sitting down and talking without having a script, me just giving you my thoughts and opinions without having the open loops, the closed loops, the dramatic whatever to keep people hanging on. So we'll see. Anyway, 30-minute video, pretty long video. Usually my videos are like 20 minutes, but 30 minutes is kind of long just for me to talk about one thing. Also, last week I was making a video and my DJI overheated, so I had to stop making the video. So I'm kind of concerned about that. If you have questions, comment down below. Oh, I need to make my thumbnail. Let's see. People walking by looking at me, randomly smiling into the camera. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk soon.